Greetings, lore seekers, and welcome to a different episode of the Lost Archives today. Today I'm actually talking about the origins of the word Darth in the Star Wars lore. So, in the original drafts of the scripts, this was a singular name given just to Darth Vader, as Palpatine was referred to as just the Emperor, or Palpatine. But as the prequels and the expanded universe took shape, this word took on a new evolution, and it got a new backstory and lease on life as a term used by the Order of Sith Lords, and even some of their predecessors or even some of their successors, including the One Sith and Lumiya's Sith. Though the only real known user of that rule was Darth Plagueis, who chose the title himself, similar to how Reverend Malik chose those titles as well as fabricating new names for themselves, as Malik was not Darth Malik's original name. If you read the Old Republic comic book series, you'll know what I mean. But before I get on to what I'm about to say, it does actually seem to have some predates before the Old Republic comic, as there is one with Zane Carrick where he refers to one of his companions as Darth Sunshine. What I mean by the Old Republic comic is I'm referring to the one specifically where it mentions the journeys of Zane Carrick, where Captain Malik does turn up at one point, and this was before their fall to the dark side. In the lore for the Knights of the Old Republic, Darth is seen as potentially a title, a corruption of the Rakatan word for emperor, which was Darita, which essentially meant emperor, which you can see that does seem to have a completely different pronunciation, and the spelling isn't exactly the same either, as there is another one which is the Rakatan word for triumph, which is Dar, and the Rakatan word for death, which is Darth, which means that the title of Darth, if it was that origin, would mean triumph over death. Considering that most Sith always try to extend their life or find a way of prolonging their life after death, that one seems like they bigger fit. Now, there are also evidence that the title of Darth predates Reverend Malik. It's just only after them it seems to come back into popular tradition, as all Sith Lords after Reverend Malik, at least the majority of them, take the title of Darth. This is Kreia, Darth Traya, Darth Sion, Darth Nihilos, and then the majority of the true Sith faction from the Knights of the Old Republic, and then the faction that goes into the Old Republic. So it is quite possible, because the true Sith would have been around much longer than Malik and Revan. It makes it all a bit of a mess, and to try and clear it up. So the way in which I do it in my own headcanon is, it is the Rakatan word for either Emperor or triumph over death. It was originally used by the original Sith at one point, as we do have one that we at least know about in the timeline called Darth Andevi, who predates both Revan and Malik. In fact, Frieden Nad was able to find this particular Darth's holocron. And if for those of you who know Frieden Nad, you know exactly how much trouble he got up to and his effect on some of the games. So, in my own headcanon, as I've said before, I do think it does predate them, but when they rediscovered the Starforge and the Rakatan Empire, they brought it back into popular fashion, setting a tradition that meant all future Sith Lords and their incarnations used that title, until we get to Darth Bane's Brotherhood of Darkness, where it started to form into less popular fashion, as it was seen as a way of singling out certain Sith Lords, and also ending, you know, with that Sith being a target for the Jedi. You know, oh, he's a Darth, oh, we'll go take him out, this is going to cause a bit of trouble for all his little dark side underlings. And then eventually Darth Bane took the title himself and established the rule of two. And then we had Sith Lords from that point on using that title, even Sith Lords who would eventually leave their Sith order and form their own orders. Looking at you, Darth Millennial, seems that no matter what galaxy or universe you're in, millennials can potentially be problems. I am kidding, of course. If you want to know which force group I'm particularly referring to there, I'll pop a link at the end of the video. One thing interesting of note as well to bring up before I bring the video to a close, Darth Crate's One Sith had a interesting use of the title, as they kind of used it as a rank of merit and devotion to their leader Darth Crate. So there were various Sith under the One Sith, as in the One Sith it was the Order of Sith itself that everyone was devoted to, and their leader Darth Crate. But the title of Darth was not given to everybody throughout the Order. It was only given to those who had unquestioning loyalty into Darth Crate and had proven that their power was supreme. This is why you'd have such Sith in the One Sith Order who are not entitled to the title Darth, because of either not being powerful in the dark side, or not showing complete and utter devotion to Darth Krayt. This did mean that you'd have several powerhouses in the One Sith who still didn't bear the title of Darth, due to disagreements with their leader for one reason or another, or if in political moves it'd be seen that no, you don't favour Darth Krayt, you're not getting the title. And such, you're going to be shunned by the rest of the Sith, as they generally saw people who didn't bear that title as not real Sith, just wannabe Darksiders. Though, with the eventual death of Darth Krayt, spoiler warning I suppose I should have said there, but then, considering with Krayt and a lot of Sith, that's not usually the end of their story, so consider that a little bit of a tease and go check out the Legacy comic book series, as it's actually really good, even if there are some eye-rolly moments with it. Anyway guys, this has been a short lore video with my speculations on the title of Darth. I'm considering doing more of these little ones and releasing them out of order from my usual lore video postings. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Also, if you enjoyed this video or want to get a discussion going on it, perhaps leave me a like or a dislike and a comment down below. As well as if you want to help spread this discussion on people's thoughts on the title of Darth. Hope share this around, and if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button, as I would greatly appreciate that, as it will continue to help the channel grow, and we can have more discussions on stuff like Darth, or even like why the Jedi were called the Jedi, which, if you've seen some of my videos on that, you'll know what they did, where they removed one sneaky comma out of a particular name. Anyway guys, take care, have a good day, and may the lore keepers ever be in your favour.